The Charlotte area chapter of ASTD has a special place in my heart. I want to say it was probably in 1972. I was training director for NCNB, which is now Bank of America, and I got to meet a good friend of mine, Jack Aldridge, who was then the training director for packaged products. He was a national member, as was I, and he had the idea of why don't we start an ASTD chapter. We met for the very first time with a small group of people, I'm going to say 7, 8 people. At that time there was a restaurant nearby, and we met for lunch and began to make our plans for how we might start a chapter for the area. Our next meeting was at brand new South Park, and Belk had a restaurant in their store, and so we met there and drew up the chapter plans and the charter and elected officers. And I was elected vice president of the chapter. Jim Hawk, who was training director of J.A. Jones Construction, was elected the president. Well, then shortly thereafter, the following Thanksgiving, Jim disappeared. When he completely disappeared, I assumed his position as president, served out his term, and was elected for a second term. We received the chapter charter at the old YMCA, then on Trade Street it was, and Jack Kimbrell. Jack was at NC State and was the regional vice president for ASTD, came down and awarded us our charter, and it was a super big day.
The mission of the chapter is to provide learning and network opportunities in the learning and development industry to our members.
The mission, I don't think, has changed a whole lot. It was really to provide continuing education and resources for the training and development community, and I think that was really a major thrust, bringing that group of people, of academicians and trainers and consultants together to do that.
Our mission is to empower workforce learning and development professionals to be passionate about what they do.
Continuing education, training, opportunities for leadership within the community. I wouldn't be in the profession. I'm actually in a consulting role. I've had a practice for 15 years. I would have never had the opportunities to build that network of professionals. I would have never had the opportunity to gain the skills to be in a voluntary leadership role. And so it really gave me a base for helping me transition from I mentioned an academic role into a more business entrepreneur, being able to provide value in a private sector role.
Well, you need to talk to Karen Geiger, who is now, I think, Dean of the McCall School of Business. So I talked to her, and she said, you really need to get involved in ASTD, or join ASTD. And then she kind of led with the punchers and don't just join, get involved, be a contributor, not a consumer. So that really stuck with me. And within 6 months after I joined, I was running for vice president of membership. I owe a lot to ASTD. I owe most of my career to ASTD, because just running and doing the president role was like a double master's degree. I mean, I learned more from ASTD than I did get my master's. So I owe a lot to it.
So I needed to be able to speak to people who could speak my language, and that's why I've continued to be involved. And it has evolved into a way to give back, but it has tremendously increased my knowledge of the industry. It has put me in contact with really good people who are willing to share and support and help and to learn from, because I think the other thing I've learned about myself is I'm a lifelong learner, so this is a perfect opportunity for me to continue in that space. And it's given me opportunities to do some leadership things, like being on the board, participating in national, and those kinds of things. And I have a better, richer life because of it.
Well, I felt like it was going to be a place that I could learn more about training and development and really do some networking. We have a great group of professionals that come together each month. And so because I was in between opportunities, I thought it'd be a great place to really look for jobs. And really, at the first meeting, there was someone there looking for employees, and I brought my resume, and so I was able to immediately, at that first meeting, hand off my resume to someone.
Like the networking, getting to meet people from all different companies. And
so I'm excited and I'm looking forward to the networking and meeting new people and just finding different ways that I can enhance my career.
oh my gosh, all the people and the terrific friends that you make by being part of this organization and the expertise that you can share is fabulous. Been doing it for 20 years.
It's definitely the people and the networking. One of the things I like is the experience of the people that come in and speak to us.
Look at the energy, look at the food, and then the
environment and the networking opportunities.
You and all of you actually like talking to all my colleagues.
I just like the fellowship and the meeting everybody here, and just it's a welcoming chapter.
The food.
Like the webcast, the access to different speakers.
Yeah, it's intriguing to engage with new people to get new ideas about ways to train.
To be able to meet some fantastic people willing to share their contacts and their knowledge. It's just phenomenal.
Just the opportunity to meet all these great people every month.
Favorite part about coming here to speak is awesome.
I've just had a great time with all the people. Met great folks on the board, great folks that are members, and from a connection standpoint, the business standpoint, there has been business in it for Refocus, which I appreciate very much.
If you want to get smart and you want to get connected in the learning and development industry, ASTD is the place to do it. The Charlotte chapter